you have something you'd like us to talk about, leave them in the comment section when this goes to YouTube. So, which could be, I first thought, hey, Valentine's Day, how about Love Song? And I'm like, no, this isn't going to come out until Easter. So
Right.
it just,
Sure.
But anyway, the request was they really like to live vicariously through us, and they want to hear some more stories from on the road. And I was hoping to have Eric here as well, but he had a strike today, and so he's very, very tired. But so we're going to do, you know, stories from on the road, good or bad, and share some of our experiences because we've all been traveling this year a lot.
Cue the bobslayer.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson on the road again.
So, I have to mention one of our longtime sponsors, DJEventPlanner.com. And also, when this goes to YouTube, where it says show more, press that, and it'll list all the other sponsors. And there'll be some affiliate links as well that will help keep this channel alive. So thank you for that. And so, guys, Brian, you've done quite a bit. I mean, everybody here has traveled quite a bit.
Mm.
You know, can you let them live vicariously through you? A little bit of wisdom or some funny stories or some disasters, anything?
Well, uh, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could. I'm just off the top of my head here. I had to do a show in Indiana one time, and Stevie was, I don't know, 14 maybe, and I thought, hey, why don't you come do this show with me? It'll give us an opportunity to spend some time in the car and go down there. And it was a show that I got as a wedding that I got from someone in California. They knew somebody who was getting married in Indiana and wanted to know if I could do it. And I said, sure. So it is, I got to cross a couple borders to get there, but it's about 2.5 hour drive. So we go down there. It's in Maryville, Indiana, which is just outside of Gary. And Maryville's not a bad area or anything. But I remember I had Stevie down there. It turns out that they were kind of like, they were bikers, and I don't know what they were, but they were very racist, and they were doing a lot of drugs openly. And I had my daughter with me. That was awkward.
Ooh.
Something I could have handled if I was there by myself, just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get out of here in a couple hours. But with her, it was a little weird because I kind of had to try to shelter her from all that. I don't know. That happened. I had no idea.
That's a true story. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, wow. And you had Stevie. How old was Stevie?
I was 13, 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was. Well, I mean, she's always been older than her years, so she could handle it. She understood what was going on, but it was just awkward that I had to have her there, and I couldn't take her somewhere and drop her off. I had to just kind of keep her with me. It was an interesting crowd. I don't know, just off the top of my head. I don't know specifically what you're looking for, but that was just one I could tell off the top of my head.
Well, we can go around a few times. Now, John, you just got back.
Just came home. The boots are still drying. It was just yesterday I got home. You've been up yonder in the Great Lakes North.
It took me like 4 days to recover.
Yeah, I went up last Wednesday, which would have been the 8th or 9th. It was the FIS World Cup ski zone event that hasn't taken place in Lake Placid since 1990. That was the last time it was held there. So this was the first time back. So you're at the bottom. There's a lodge set up below the two ski jumps. They're probably about 15 stories high. Go off as far as you can see in the distance. We're at the very base. So to get into this valley, you're basically walking down this 4-story hill into this parking lot area. And we're setting it up Wednesday, Thursday. The event starts midday Friday. They're doing some test trials and things like that. 15 countries represented. Poland in big numbers there. Norway, the locals, the USA team, of course, Japan, Germany. They estimate anywhere between 7,500 and 8,500 people in attendance on Saturday.
Yeah.
Massive crowd that we saw in stages because they were all on the opposite side of the lodge up on the hill at the bottom of the base where the skiers would come down. So we had the video wall set up. So we did the telecast along with the sports network that did the Friday warm-ups to show the trials. That was a short day. That was like 5 to 9. We came back for Saturday. That was 7 a.m. until about 9 o'clock at night. Talk about a day outdoor. It was nice though. It was nice. It was probably 25 to 30 degrees all day. Little bit of passing snow. But we had the stage set up because we had 2 bands play between the events. So it's coordinating them, getting them mic'd up, wired up. And the great team, of course, Eric's guys, of course, Ludwig and Jamie on the soundboard, just a stellar rock star making the 3-piece band sound like an orchestra like he does. So that was great. So a few records were set. It was the longest ski jump coming down this thing, I guess, was 139 meters, which is about a football field and a half. That's a lot of time to be flying in the air before you touch ground. Japan won the first day, and then in the dual team, Norway won the second day. So that's it. We get to watch this because, of course, we've got the big, 20-foot by 15-foot screen, so we can see what's going on the other side of the building. And then they all came around for the after party. So as everyone's parading through, we probably had a good 3,000-4,000 people in the area in front of the stage. So yeah, that was big. And as a result of the event, they've locked it in for the next 3 years. So we'll be back for 24, 5, and 6 for the World Cup returning to Lake Placid next year. So Howie, what are you doing next February?
I know I'll be back. That they put the state of New York put I think it was $300 million into refurbing Lake Placid specifically to attract the international crowd, because you have to have, there's certain specs that you have to follow. So, they just dumped a bunch of money into it, and that's why they're getting these things like that. So
the lodge is beautiful. The grounds are beautiful. It was just so well orchestrated. Everything went off without a hitch. And if anyone wants to look for it on their own time, it's FIS World Cup 2023 Lake Placid. I see some of the videos are starting to hit. So go check it out.
I saw some of the videos and stuff that Eric put up, and Stuart, he put up some videos, and I guess was he the announcer?
He was for a little bit. He was. He won't miss an opportunity to hang onto a microphone and walk around talking to people. So.
Jay, you're a traveling guy. You'd be qualified as a road dog.
I would.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Road dog. Yeah.
There we go. I'm thinking something that you could learn from. About 2010, I had to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana for Gear Fest at Sweetwater. So I called Brian to see what his plans were. And I said, hey, I'm going to Chicago. Do you have time to meet up, like on a Wednesday? He's like, sure. When are you going to be there? And I said, well, I'll get the flight where I've got a 3-hour layover. So I'll get into Chicago at noon and I'll leave at 3. Maybe swing by, I'll come outside, grab some lunch, and then bring me back to O'Hare. Made sense. So I took the flight, 6 a.m. flight out of San Diego. So we got to Chicago, called Brian, and I think you weren't feeling good or you'd had an appointment. Something got in the works. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. Just hang out at the airport. So I'm hanging out at the airport, and about 20 minutes before the flight takes off, we were about 40 minutes because we hadn't boarded. I look up and I suddenly see flight canceled. So I go to the ticket agent. I'm like, hey, my flight's canceled. Yeah. We had tornado warnings Monday and Tuesday, and the FAA wants to check the planes, and this is one of the planes. I said, oh, okay, when's the next available flight for me? It's like Friday morning. I'm like, it's Wednesday afternoon. She goes, yeah, there's no flights tomorrow because they're grounding all these planes. We can try to get you on another airline. I'm like, okay. The problem is because of the tornadoes, there's no rent-a-cars because I tried the rent because I think it's like 170 miles from O'Hare to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Probably.
Yeah, it's not a far trip. So I was like, I'll drive it. Well, I can't get a car and it's going to take too long. And I bump into 3 people who are asking me, is your flight canceled? And we all agreed that there's a bus taking off that goes to, where's Notre Dame?
Purdue?
No, it's South Bend.
South Bend.
There's a bus going to South Bend.
That's nowhere near where you're going.
No, but one of the ladies that's going is a nurse named Lisa, who I'm still friends with on Facebook. Sarah. And she says, my husband will drive the other 2 of you to Fort Wayne. I was like, great. So we get on the bus with strangers. And then the whole time I'm like, I'd never do this in California. We get to South Bend. I go to the Enterprise Rent-A-Car and I go, hey, I just took a bus. I tell him my whole sob story. So he goes, oh man, I feel so bad. I go, there's 3 of us that have to get down to Fort Wayne. So he goes, you know what? I'm going to give you a car. I'm going to upgrade you. I'm not going to charge you the fees. He couldn't have been nicer to me. So I get a Jeep Cherokee. I get in with 2 strangers, one behind me, one next to me. We start driving. And those of you that know Indiana, when it rains at night, it's got a smell in the air. But it also looks like the movie At Close Range. So the whole drive, I'm just thinking, if they're going to kill me, there's nothing but cornfields around us. They'll never find me. And I didn't have, 2010, I didn't have an iPhone, so I can't really transmit my location. And I get
that was signal anyway.
No, I get to Fort Wayne. The plane won't be in until tomorrow afternoon. And this is the point of the story. 1, always pack underwear and socks in your carry-on. I had checked my bag with everything in it, so I had nothing. I had to go to Walgreens and buy a bunch of stuff. And 2, when you arrive in Fort Wayne at midnight, 1, bars all seem to be closed. 2, you can't buy cold beer because they only sell warm beer at the grocery store, but they sell cold beer at the liquor store, and they were closed. And I didn't know my way around. I wasn't going to start bar hopping at midnight in Fort Wayne. So I ended up putting my beer in the sink with ice. But yeah, it ended up being an 18-hour day and having no clothes, toothbrush, or anything. But everyone else was nice. So the lesson is underwear and socks, maybe toothbrush in your bag that's on your person at all times.
I did not flake on you, by the way. I remember you calling.
No, you didn't flake.
There's a problem. I'm like, okay, you want me to come get you?
No. You were cool about it. I'm talking about the noon to 3 part where we were going to meet for lunch.
No, I was ready to go, but I already knew there was a problem.
No, there was no problem at noon. The problem didn't happen until literally right before the flight was supposed to take off.
I remember getting ready to come and bail you out or drive you or something.
You would offer then, and I'm like, no, I'm good. We're going to take this bus to South Bend because at that point it becomes an adventure. And you're like, yeah, I'll roll the dice.
Or our last known fighting with one of the lake down here.
That was 13 years ago. The 13-year ago me is not the same me today. Today,
I've driven to O'Hare for dumber reasons.
Uber X. I need an Uber X, something comfortable, pick me up and drive. I mean, I would have literally, we do it every year from Philly. I take the train for $10 and every year a bunch of DJs hop in Ubers and sit in the back on their lappy tops and just drive to Atlantic City to the tune of about $200. And I'm like, spend the 10.
Anybody surprised Jay's story was 15 minutes long?
Be prepared. It wasn't 15, was it? Didn't seem it.
Time flies.
Well, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with an adventure. And it was, I think it was 5 years ago. And we did Atlantic City. And Not that one, Brian.
Okay.
Not that one. Not that one. Oh my God. That's a whole different adventure.
Yeah.
I think it was the year before that. And Jimmy was still with us. And right after Atlantic City, we hightailed it down to North Carolina. And we did this country club that had 4 separate buildings. It was a huge, like, they had like 50 acres and golf courses. I mean, it was a 5-star deal. So I went down to help Jimmy with that event, and it was just so amazing that as soon as Jimmy, just when he gets in a groove, do you remember that little smile he'd have? Be like, he would know when he nailed a transition, and it just like, yeah, and we were doing the high five thing. But the thing that was most impressive was he had people dancing during cocktail hour. And I mean, a full dance floor, unbelievable. And he's playing low key stuff, but they wanted to dance, And then it came time for dinner, and the I guess the venue manager came over to us, and she said, "Could you make an announcement? People take their seats." And well, they went to their seats, and they started serving the salad first. And Jimmy's playing, and they're like, "Salad, screw this." And they came back out onto the dance floor. And she came over and said, "Can you maybe play something a little bit slower so they, go sit down?" And so he played slow stuff, and it got even more people out there because these people were dressed to the nines. So they were all slow dancing. And we were like, "There's nothing, I don't know what to tell you." I said, "But hey, listen, lady, the good part is if they're on the dance floor, they're not in the way. It's easy for you to, plate the food." Well, they danced all through dinner, and then when it came time to so-called open the dance floor, it was so full that there were people dancing on the carpet. They were backed up, I mean, right against the facade that we had. And it was just like one of those wonderful, wonderful memories. And my tip for anybody that's going to travel is I looked, and I have to go through Philly, which is a nightmare to go through to get home. So I traveled at night. When the event was over, I loaded up and I traveled through the night. And there's that little, oh, you remember, Brian, when I picked you up from the airport, that so-called, beltway type roundabout, how it's like, it took us like an hour to go like 5-10 miles.
Yeah, it was very twisty, turny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
take something to settle your stomach before you go on that ride.
Oh my God. And yeah, so anyway, I went at night and I made it through there in 10 minutes. Wow. And I got home. I saved 2 hours drive time by traveling through the night. And I got home before the sun came up. So
it was kind of like being on a tilt-a-whirl. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a,
oh God.
Yeah.
Really, I might enjoy this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you successfully did 20 minutes.
We did 20 minutes, didn't we?
Yeah.
You want to go around one more time then, or no?
We're probably good. If we go around one more time, that's going to put us at the 40-minute mark. And 20 minutes is a hanging with Howie. So I think you're good.
All right.
I think you're good.
Well then.
You nailed it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, leave the comments when this goes up in Easter, and YouTube, and we'll be happy to oblige you. So